Katie Morag and the two grandmothers. This is a little map of the Isle of Struy. So that's the post office and that's the jetty where the boats come in. This is the village with all the houses, and there's a little bridge that takes you over to the mainland. So it's a bit like the Isle of Wight. That's where Mrs. Bayview lives. That's High Farm. There's a holiday house here. The lady artist lives here, and Granny lives there. One sunny Wednesday morning, Mrs. McColl woke Katie Morag early. "Hurry up now," she said, drawing back the curtains. "Here comes the boat. Grandma Mainland will be here soon, and you've still got this room to tidy for her." Grandma Mainland lived far away in the big city. She was coming to stay with them for a holiday. Katie Morag went with her other grandmother, Granny Island, who lived just across the bay, to meet the boat. "Why, you're still a smart wee Bobby Dazzler," said Neely Beag as he helped Grandma Mainland down. Granny Island revved the engine very loudly. Brum, brum, brum. Katie Morag watched fascinated as Grandma Mainland unpacked. "Do you like this new hat I bought for show day, Katie Morag?" Grandma Mainland asked. "Och, her and her fancy ways," muttered Granny Island to herself. Show day was always a big event on the island of Struy. At the post office, Mr. and Mrs. McColl were rushed off their feet. "Look where you're going!" shouted Mrs. McColl as Katie Morag tripped over baby Liam. "Katie Morag, I think you'd be better off helping Granny Island get Alicina ready for the show," sighed Mr. McColl. Alicina was Granny Island's prize sheep. She has won the best ewe and fleece trophy for the past 7 years, but she was getting old, and everyone said that Neely Beag's April Love would win it this year. Katie Morag ran as fast as she could, past the show field where frantic last-minute preparations were in progress, and on to Granny Islands in order to give Alicina an extra special brush and comb before the judging started. But when Katie Morag arrived at Granny Islands, Alicina was up to her horns in the boggy loch. "A whole hillside to eat, and she wants to eat that blade of grass," cried Granny Island in a fury. "Look at your fleece, and today of all days, you old devil," ranted Granny Island when they eventually got Alicina out of the boggy loch. "We'll never get these peaty stains out in time for the show. Grandma Mainland has some stuff to make her hair silvery white," said Katie Morag thoughtfully. Everyone looked in amazement as Granny Island's old tractor and trailer hurtled past the show field, heading for the post office. "We'll be too late," grumbled Granny Island. Fortunately, no one was about when they got home, since Mrs. McColl would certainly not have approved of this sheep in the bath, or this sheep in the bathroom, mud on the floor. And Grandma Mainland would have been furious at this, using Grandma's curlers in the sheep, and using Grandma's perfume and her hairnet. Not to mention, But it all ended well. They managed to get tidied up and back to the show field just in time for the judging, and at the sight of Alicina's shiny coat and curls, the judges were in no doubt as to who should win the silver trophy again this year. That evening there was a party at Granny Islands to celebrate. "My, but that old ewe is still some beauty for her age," said Neely Beag. "Just like yourself, Grandma Mainland. How do you do it?" "Ah, "That's my secret," said wee Grandma Mainland, fluttering her eyelashes. Katy Morag and Granny Island smiled at each other. They knew some of the secret, but they would never tell. And Granny Island never frowned at Grandma Mainland's fancy ways ever again. I wonder why.